Superintendent Chalmers was a punk sort of the world, or at least he had been ever since the unforgettable luncheon he had with his good friend and possible lover, Principal Seymour Skinner. After Since that luncheon, Chalmers had been obsessed with steamed hams, but not because he had an addiction to them or anything like that. No, Chalmers was not more concerned over the fact that Skinner called them steamed hams, despite the fact they were obviously grilled. One day, Chalmers had gone to the Krusty Burger and ordered a Krusty Burger. He took it to his house and looked the hamburger over with a microscope. It looked just like the steamed hams Skinner had served them just a few nights prior, and just like those hamburgers with this Krusty Burger was obviously grilled. Chalmers began doing some research by asking people around Springfield if they ever heard of steamed hams before, all the while keeping a constant eye on Skinner and his crazy explanations. Chalmers was eventually approached by Virgil the Turk Salazar, who claimed to be a hamburger importer from Sicily. Salazar and Chalmers had themselves a drink at Moe's Tavern, where they discussed the steamed hams. Why, you must understand, my friend, is that steamed hams is your friend. Claims are an Albany expression, Salazar explained before continuing with, which means we must there to discover the truth. What would Chalmers do to Skinner when he found out the truth? He didn't know it, in all honesty. Perhaps he would fire Skinner, but he might be going too far, especially since all Skinner did was serve him some hamburgers from the Krusty Burger. He didn't try to kill Chalmers by feeding him salty rats. You find him under a bus and shattered his home turf. But the following day, Chalmers and Salazar took the bus from Springfield to New York City and arrived at the bus station, catching a cab to Albany. Also, during the cab ride, the little driver let out a massive shit, which stunk so bad Chalmers had to stick his head out the window to escape it. It smelled like a guy ate a smelly dog named Chili Charlie. Spat it out before taking a steamy shit on it. Salazar then patted the driver on the back, saying, "Nice work, I'll remember that." He did this because Salazar had a fetish for farting, a fetish he had since 1933 at the peace summit with that smelly hound. When they finally reached Albany, Salazar paid the driver with a small loan of shit. $1 million. They reached a small corner named Hamburgers and Chips. They asked the chef if he had any steamed hams, which he replied with a massive yes! He did the funky dance as Chalmers and Salazar got themselves a table. The chef brought their burgers to them and sat there curiously childlike as the two men ate their hamburgers. These hamburgers are obviously grilled. The Chalmers said he nearly finished his burger. No, I said steamed hams. That's what I call hamburgers. A voice called out the distance as Principal Seymour Skinner came into the restaurant. Skinner! Chalmers yelled at the top of his lungs. Superintendent Chalmers, I think it's time for a napping up, Skinner said as Chalmers and Salazar passed out onto the floor with their burgers and been drugged. Steamed hams, Skinner said evilly as he and the chef dragged the pair into the basement of the restaurant. They awoke several hours later in the days, because Chalmers could make out was a small shadow figure putting some cans of Pepsi into a baking tray. Seymour, is that you? What were we doing here? I'm scared, Chalmers cried out while shaking like a munchkin on crack. You shouldn't have been here, Superintendent, Skinner said, obviously continuing with, I told you steamed hams were an Albany expressions, and I told you they were Skinner burgers, an old family recipe, but you didn't listen to me, Skinner said in a harsh voice. Oh, another thing, Superintendent, Skinner began before continuing with, you really need to think who your friends are. Salazar then appeared behind Skinner's with a smug grin on his face. Salazar! Chalmers yelled at the top of his young. Salazar explained to Chalmers he was actually a major drug dealer for Turkey who became and for Skinner's. He told Skinner about Chalmers' plans to find out the steam Huns, as well as his plans to fire him. He discovered the truth about him. What's the truth about him? The truth about steamed hams? Chalmers asked Skinner, which he replied with, here he comes. All of suddenly, a big, fat, sweaty man came running in and yelled, hey, let's start the game. Huh? Chalmers said, bewildered, as Skinner said, you see, steamed hams are actually made from Sabe's poop. Chalmers respond. Then Skinner then explained that Sabe was an addict to hamburgers and had eaten so many of them that he now crapped out pure hamburger patties. He gave them pure steamy taste. Say then demonstrate by taking a massive dump on Chalmers. It came out as a pure hamburgers freshly cooked from his ass. What the heck? What the? I just know. Chalmers couldn't even form a proper sentence as Skinner left him to be killed by Salazar, the chef and Sabe. Meanwhile, Skinner's back upstairs. You backstabbing son of a bitch, Chalmers said as he tried desperately to break free from his chains. What you've got to understand is what happened between me and Don Corleone. Strictly a business matter. I have great respect for the Don, and I would love to be in his service one day, Salazar explained as he became quiet, insane from an addiction to chewits. Suddenly, Stave came falling down from the top of the Salazar, crushing him to death. The process, well, that was a bit quick, Peppa Pig said as she came in and leapt through the cat flap. The cat flaps make your teeth gray. The Save then realized Chalmers from his chains, and Chalmers said, why he did this. Say revealed that he had a family back home in Springfield who missed him terribly. He had been forced to make the steamed hams after being kidnapped by Skinner and the chef whose real name was Harold Joseph. Chalmers agreed to help Skinner and Joseph as they made their way upstairs. Skinner, however, had anticipated Chalmers' escape by having a large group of mobsters waiting to ambush him and save. They survived the attack, however, they killing every last hitman who stood their way. They made their way into the streets where they saw Skinner and Joseph driving off the steam hams mobile. Joseph picked up Chalmers, giving him a piggy bank ride, as two men followed after Skinner and Joseph. The steam hams mobile ended up crashing outside an old abandoned warehouse somewhere on Staten Island. Chalmers and Safe followed Skinner and Joseph inside the warehouse where another large group of hitmen were waiting for them. They survived an attack again and confronted Skinner and Joseph at the top of the warehouse. Where are you thinking, Chalmers? You think you think they're just gonna let you walk after everything you did? Skinner asked rhetorically. Well, I'm hoping so, Chalmers said bluntly. Skinner then continued with, I think you give a shit about the feds or those old fucks on the school board. They're using you, Skinner, just like Salazar used you, so just like I used you, and just like the rat fuck Henry used you. Skinner explained, continuing again. Now, you dumb fuck. You're gonna pay for it, Skinner yelled as the Tom pulled out a Tommy gun and shooting it at the floor. Shit, I could never fire one of these things, Skinner said while trying to reload his Tommy gun. So Chalmers and Skinner engaged in a violent shootout, while Sabe took care of Joseph by eating him in one go. Eventually, Chalmers managed to get 6 shots into Skinner, causing him to fall to the floor very near death. You know something, Seymour? For the last 10 years, and all I've done is kill. I killed for my country. I killed for my family. I killed for anyone in my way. But this one's for me. Chalmers finished as he shot the fatal bullet into Skinner's head, killing him instantly. So, alright, so where now? Sabe asked as Chalmers made their way out of the warehouse. Well, after this, I'm going to take a rest, Chalmers explained. When they got outside, the 2 cars were already parked outside, and a large group of federal agents were there to see them. You see, Chalmers had been sent to gather information on the steamed hams after making a deal with the FBI, who would stop his corruption from leaking to the press. Is it done? One of the feds, named Leo, asked in a gruff voice, which sounded like he smoked 5,000 packs of cigarettes. Chalmers nodded to Leo, to which Leo replied with, "Excellent! You had looked like a celebration is in order. Let's go to the Krusty Burger." "Sounds good to me," Leo said, as Sabe and Chalmers went to this car, which Leo was not standing next to. "Come with me, Chalmers. There's more we need to talk about," Leo said, and Abel as sadly as you did there. Sabe said as he got into the other car, whose driver looked like he was high on toast. As they made their way down the street, Chalmers said, "So what's the big secret?" Which Leo didn't respond. Chalmers looked up through the windshield and saw the car taking Sabe took an unexpected turn and drove off in completely the wrong direction. Hey, what the hell's going on? Where are they taking Sabe?" Chalmers asked fiercely. Then Leo said in a sad voice, "Sorry, kid. Sabe, it wasn't part of our deal." All Chalmers needed to do was sit there helplessly as his new friend get driven away to somewhere fate awaited him at the end of the drive. All he could do as the rain began to finally pour into the car.